Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, the Garrison for Guitar. Today we're going to be talking about a very specific lesson. It's going to be about how to play over a backing track, how to play a guitar solo over a backing track, how to map out the chord changes, how to understand what are the little pockets in the box shape of the pentatonic that we can look at. So I don't actually have a backing track, but I'm going to play out some chords just so that you know what they are. I'm going to put some images of the chords also up on my left, and I'm going to loop them with my loop pedal so that you know exactly what the chords are that we're playing, and you can also listen to the changes as they're happening. So I'm going to see you in a second with my guitar, and I'm also going to walk you through some of the positions within the pentatonic shape and a little bit of an extension on either side of the box shape that we can look at, so that you can identify 3 to 4 notes and the shape that they form within the scale as what I like to call home when you're improvising. So I'll see you in just a second with my guitar. So guys, I hope you could hear what was happening there. I actually played it very softly, but I'm gonna check that out in the video again, um, just to make sure that you guys could hear it. Anyway, what I was doing there was I played the chords D minor, I played C, I played B flat major, I played C again. Now, this is a chord sequence from a song called Empty Promises. Why I chose it was because I like the way that it moves laterally, so you can always remember what the shapes are in terms of blocks, and it's also all in D minor. So the position that I was playing in was the basic pentatonic shape that everyone knows, the one box shape that everybody knows, and it starts on the 10th fret. So we got 10th fret on the low E string, we got 13th fret on the low E string, then we got 10 and 12 on the A string, the D string, and the G string, and then we got 10 and 13 on the B string, and 10 and 13 on the high E string. I'm gonna put an image of the scale up on my left just so that you guys have something to refer to at all points during this video. And one of the things I want to talk to you about is within any shape of a scale, you have to know where the root note is. Now, I told you that this solo lesson was going to be in D minor. So now we know that the root note is in D. And we can identify that in the shape of the scale in a very simple way. So we got the 10th fret on the low E string, which is a D. Now I want you to take 2 strings below that and 2 frets ahead of that. So the 12th fret on the D string is also a D note, and you can remember this actually because the frets on the 12th fret are the same as they're the same notes as the open string. So if this is an open D string, then we get a D note on the 12th fret as well. And the last 2 Ds that we have is one on the 15th fret of the B string. Now, if you're looking at the shape, so that note there, the 10th fret on the high E string, just gonna bring my guitar up a little closer. That is also a D note. But if you go ahead of that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets, and you go string up, the 16th fret on the B string is also a D note. So when I'm playing the guitar, I like to do one of two things. I like to start on a B note, and one of the most comfortable ways to do that is by looking at this shape right here. It's going to be 3 notes: the 12th fret on D string, the 10th fret on the G string and the 12th fret on the G string. And a good way I like to do this is just, what I do there is I slide in from the 10th fret on the D string, and I play the 10th fret on the G string, the 12th fret on the G string, and I bend that 12th fret. And then I come back to the 10th fret on the G string, and I end on the 12th fret of the D string. So what I'm doing there is I'm starting this little lick or this little bendy sequence with the D note, which is the 12th fret on the D string. I'm doing a little bit of fiddly diddly in the middle, which is and I'm ending also on the D note. So subconsciously, as a listener, even if they know nothing about music, they know that within these four notes or five individual sounds that I've created, including the bend, they know that the note that encompasses all of them, or the note that sort of governs the frequencies, is the D note, because you start and end with them and they just sound good together. So this is one position in the pentatonic shape you've got to learn. 12th fret, and you can do a lot of stuff with just those three notes. And you can add that 10th fret on the D string in just to get some variation, but that's something you've got to know. And it's basically going to be the root note and the next note in the scale, which is going to be 3 frets ahead of it if you look at it on the same string. So we got the D, 1 note, 2 note, 3 note, and that's an F, which is also the next note in the pentatonic shape. And you go another whole step up. A whole step basically means that if we got F, a whole step is the next note, which is G, and in the middle of these two notes there's an F sharp. So if I went F to F sharp, that's a half step, and if I'm going F to G, it's a whole step. And another way, like, remember I spoke to you about octaves. So if we come back to the first note in the scale, which is the 10th fret, and similarly, we basically shift this whole shape back by 2 frets and up 2 strings. And that's simply because that's how octaves work on the first 2 strings. Now, if we come to the 4th string, octaves change slightly. So up here on the 6th string, you go 2 strings down and 2 frets ahead. Over here, you go 2 strings down, but you go 3 frets ahead once you're on the 4th string. So any note on the 4th string, the octave of that is going to be 2 strings down and 3 frets ahead. And octave is just like, if you count the notes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then you come back to A, and you've been going up the scale A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the next A is the octave of the first A. It creates, it's 8 notes apart, 8 sounds apart basically. And that's why it's called an octave, if you didn't know. So we're gonna figure out exactly where all the octaves are, and that is 10th fret on the 6th string, and then after that you've got the 8th fret on the A string and 10th fret on the A string. Then what we just spoke about, the 12th fret on the D string, the 10th fret on the G string, and the 12th fret on the G string. And the last one, the one that you can sort of use as a high point in your solo, is the 15th fret on the B string, the 13th fret on the high E string, and the 15th fret on the high E string. And what I was doing throughout the solo that I initially played, I was just finding ways and what I'm doing there is I'm just finding ways to connect these 3 octaves, all right? And why is it helping me play through the backing track? Because I know, regardless of what chord it is, what's going on, I know that at the end of every cycle, the next chord, the first chord of every cycle of 4 chords is going to be D minor. So all I have to do, yeah, I mean, I'm oversimplifying it, but I really want you to know that this is the backbone of the thought in my mind. All I have to do while improvising or playing a guitar solo is connect the places or the 3 notes that I described as home. Because once I get home, once again in quotations, I know that I'm corresponding to D minor. Now, if this is just a very basic way of how to start with it. I also like to do something, so I know the chords, right? So I know that D minor is the chord, but if we just look at the notes, there's D, whole step behind, C, then we get B flat. So I know those notes, right? Now, if the first chord is D minor, I could very much focus on sounds that are close to D. So I know that D, E, F are notes that are close together. So if he hits D minor, then the next chord is going to be C. I'm going to find where C is. I know it's the 13th fret of the B string, or because that's right behind D. And each time I feel like it's not sounding cool or it's not sounding complete, I can always slide into a D note right there. Then we get B flat, which is it's 2 frets behind C. So we got, so I know that that's how I'm gonna connect it, right? Because I figured out that it's the 13th fret, sorry, the 11th fret, the 13th fret, and the 15th fret. 15th fret being a D note. And then I know that the overall shape of the pentatonic is. So if I'm playing, I can add this note right here. And then fill in the spaces with what else I know to be in the pentatonic scale. I also use a lot of embellishments. So if the straight pentatonic shape is just these notes that I have up on the side, I also like to add in a few other notes. I add in the 9th fret on the G string. Instead of, I add that bit to the home section, and then the home section just becomes a little more, what do you say, nuance. And I can bend that note, I can slide in to the original pentatonic shape with it. It's basically a good addition to have. I also work this in the same note, it's an E note. I also work it into the high E string. And I also add the 11th fret on the B string, which is an A sharp or a B flat. I have no qualms about adding this because I know one of the chords I'm playing is B flat. So the last exercise in terms of what you can do while you're playing um, a guitar solo, other than adding a couple of notes to make your sound a little more traditional, a little more authentic. So that it's just not the skeleton of the pentatonic. Another thing you have to do is learn the notes on the guitar. And these principles that I've told you for D minor, if you're playing on a backing track with, say, an F sharp minor, then you know that that note right there is F sharp. So you can just add the same concepts, right, to F sharp, but you're playing it in a different key. So even if the backing track is something like, and whatever it may be, just because you know those additions and where home is, then you can sort of adjust to the fact that it's in a different scale. And you can then apply all these basic concepts to every scale, every backing track. And what you want to do is change the time signature, start off with something slow. Um, and what I played was based off of Eastern Promises, because I like D minor as a scale to improvise in. But you can choose any backing track you want. You don't even have to choose a backing track of a song. You can just put in, suppose you're comfortable playing in E minor. This is a scale where a lot of beginner guitarists start improvising in. Now, you can just go to YouTube and type hard rock backing track in E minor, or slow backing track in E minor, or beginner backing track level E minor, and you can come up with these searches and just look for a backing track that suits your style, it suits the speed that you're able to play in, and it also obviously you're playing in a scale where your fingers are comfortable moving in the space. Because if you choose a scale like F minor, for example, and you want to play up here, it's gonna be a little harder to improvise and bend and slide in, because like the distance up here is very broad in terms of how much space there is between the frets. If you come to D minor, like you've almost halved that, and in some cases, like the frets up here on the 13th fret, they are much thinner than the ones back here. So that's also something to keep in mind. Um, anyway, I'm gonna end this lesson now. I hope that you guys benefited from it. Also, always remember, that's home across all three of these scales. I wanted to play it in different positions just so that you guys get the idea of what it visually looks like to do what I was saying. But that's home. Always remember that, and you should try to connect the dots and fill in the spaces between that one shape of three notes that you can very easily go to when it comes to improvising. And I think that's about it for this video. I don't want to go on too much and make this an information overload for you guys. If you liked it, please do smash the like button, smash the bell icon. If you're new to my channel and this is the first video you're seeing, smash the subscribe button. I would love to get more content to you like this. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for your time and thank you so much for watching.